Hello, Space Apps. I'm coming to you from smoky Northern California to talk about ensuring a high-quality hackathon experience for youth. As you probably know, NASA's International Space Apps Challenge welcomes participants from all over the world, from a variety of backgrounds. But you may not know that there is also no minimum age limit to participate in space apps. Many children and youth have participated over the years. We want and need the different ideas and perspectives of young people to be included in this global innovation effort. So today I'm going to talk about a few important things to keep in mind to make sure our younger participants have a fantastic experience that keeps them coming back to engage in collaborative problem-solving initiatives like this for years to come. Before we get into it, here's a little bit of info about me. My name is Lori McNeill, and I'm excited to be one of the Space Apps ambassadors this year. I'm the founder of the Civic Hacker Network, a networking and support hub for people creating change in their communities using data and technology. My educational and early career background is in materials science and engineering. I began my career as a research scientist in the Thermal Protection Systems and Materials branch at the NASA Ames Research Center that's in Moffett Field, California. And now I work as a data and analytic consultant when I'm not working on putting together awesome STEM educational outreach events and experiences for kindergarten through 12th grade students. The information I'm sharing with you today is inspired and informed by my experiences in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and math, and STEM educational outreach over the past 2 decades. It also pulls in some of the relevant aspects of the National Science Foundation's framework for evaluating impacts of informal science education projects, as Space Apps certainly falls under that umbrella. So why this topic? Why do we even need to think about the quality of the youth experience in the context of Space Apps? Well, why are we here? What is the purpose of having this global challenge? Beyond the amazing and novel solutions we expect to see created when all is said and done, the benefits extend beyond those projects to include the learning outcomes for participants, and that's not just technical or scientific learning, but also social emotional learning. Hackathons have grown in popularity in part because they can be a workforce pipeline development tool and a youth development tool. And they are also fun. Don't get me wrong, we're not all work, no play here. But we don't want to carelessly create an experience that discourages younger participants or lacks the attributes that we know result in an impactful, informal learning experience. Another thing to consider is that many of the issues the challenges address are things that will actually affect our younger participants for more of their lifetimes. These are their problems too. So, of course, the best solutions are going to need their voice. If we, that is organizers, mentors, etc., if we drop the ball on making these types of events youth-friendly and impactful for youth, we will miss out on the benefit of having those voices. If you're watching this, you probably already know how effective a well-run hands-on experience, such as participating in a hackathon, can be at engaging people in a certain style of problem solving and getting them excited about the subject matter. This is true for any learner, and especially true for kindergarten through 12th grade students. Maybe you're an educator incorporating space apps into your students' distance learning materials, or perhaps you're mentoring a youth team for space apps, good on you, or participating on a team with secondary school or even primary school aged members. For this bootcamp session, we're going to focus on 3 key areas that I promise, if you attend to them, will ensure a high quality learning experience is had by all. The first of the 3 key ingredients of a high-quality youth hackathon experience is access, specifically equal access. Here we're concerned with the basics of accessing the things needed to participate, but there are also some other layers to ensuring equal access for the duration of the team's activities that we're going to cover. The second component is relationship, both new and existing, depending on the situation. The team may be working together for just a couple of days, but some basic relationship management factors still very much come into play in these next 48 hours when trying to ensure a positive and productive experience. Last and probably most important is empowerment. We want youth participants to be and feel empowered in order to achieve the best outcomes for themselves and the team at the end of their efforts here. So we have access, relationships, and empowerment as our three focus areas. Let's go into more detail on each. What are we concerned about when we pay attention to issues of access? When we think about accessibility in the context of a virtual hackathon, probably the first thing that comes to mind is the issue of the digital divide. The second is probably user experience for differently able people on the team. Can everyone participating log on, download, see, read, hear, or otherwise access the tools and materials needed for the chosen challenge? These are the basic considerations in terms of considering access, and absolutely a consideration in the assessment of whether or not you're clearing that access bar. Another layer to access has to do with participation. Once we've made sure that basic access is equal, now how do we include and encourage all students to actually participate? I know my educators out there are already aware of perceived gender-related pitfalls in terms of the roles students are invited to fill within teams. We also need to be on the lookout for how different aspects of personality or even identity can result in a subgroup being ignored or excluded from parts of the process of developing their team's project, either intentionally or unintentionally. You will have those, of course, who choose not to participate. Let's face it, during a 1-hour science or code club activity session in an after-school program, we already know that's going to be an issue, let alone while working on a 24 or 48-hour challenge. Team captains, mentors, facilitators, let's think about how we prompt or welcome youth participants back into the work when we're losing them. Depending on the situation, it can be a mistake just to leave that person behind. I know the timeline is tight, but letting people opt out without so much of a word of encouragement sends the wrong message about the value to them of participating in the hackathon, as well as the value that they bring to the event. Relationships. One of the things that attract our young hackathon participants is, of course, the opportunity to do something with their peers. They get to engage in this intense bonding experience and be part of a community. There's swag. They might even make new friends. Hackathon teams tend to be made up of one or more friend groups. And then perhaps there are additional people who are newly acquainted to everyone involved added into the mix. So the tone and dynamic of the team's experience will be influenced by existing relationships, as well as how the people who are new to each other navigate how to relate during the event. The virtual environment provides much less direct contact for sure, and this can actually remove some barriers to positive or neutral interactions, but it is still very important to be aware of any negative interactions and make sure that they aren't taking over the experience. At a minimum, we're talking about establishing group norms where yelling, bullying, or harmful sarcasm is absolutely not tolerated. But team members, mentors, and facilitators must also actively promote positive and supportive relations. The time working together is intense and compressed into just a couple of days, so it's important to quickly resolve conflict and keep the team moving forward. Another important relationship issue that will affect the hackathon experience is whether or not the dynamic is such that participants want to share their ideas with each other. Do they feel safe enough to put their thoughts out to the group? Have you established enough of a positive relationship between teammates or between mentors and participants to enable you to draw in an individual who is maybe a little reluctant or a little more socially cautious? Empowerment. This is probably the thing that will have the most bearing on the quality of a young person's hackathon experience. To what extent do the youth participants have a voice in what they're doing? Are their roles on their hackathon teams allowing for personal responsibility and some degree of acknowledgement from the people that they're working with? It's extremely important that youth participants get to take leadership and make meaningful choices about the projects that they're working on, especially in a situation where perhaps you have adults and youth working together or older and younger students working together. You want to resist the tendency to just leave trivial aspects of the project to the younger or less experienced participants. Folks, young people know when they're being pushed aside or given busy work, and that kind of thing definitely lowers the quality of the experience for them. Encouraging and supporting youth participation, hackathons, makeathons, tech challenges, and the like is so important. These can be formative experiences in ways that we don't even anticipate. So let's make sure that the experience is net positive by paying attention to the access that youth have to experiencing the event fully, making sure that it's equal and including that dimension of participation and inviting participation along the way. The relationships and relational environment that the teams are experiencing. Is it safe? Is it positive? Does it support the learning outcomes that we want to see? And we need to pay attention to whether or not the youth have an authentic, empowered voice in what they're doing during the hackathon. These three things will go a long way to ensuring a high-quality hackathon experience for youth, but it's not everything. So what else do we need to do? Well, I'll give you a hint. It's in green. See where I'm going with this? What else do we need to do to create youth-friendly hackathon experiences that also qualify as high-quality informal learning? Lend an ear. Ask those young people you're trying to reach what they think. Sure, you'll get some feedback about snacks, but you'll also gain valuable insights about some of these key factors I covered today and more. That's it from me for now. I hope this info helps you. We'd love to hear more about your experiences in the comments below. Let's help each other and keep youth engaged. It is critical for the future. Thank you for stepping up to the Space App Challenge, and I wish you all the best of luck. Please don't hesitate to reach out with questions at the email address you're seeing on the screen. I'm here to help, and I'll see you at Space Apps.